So in today's video, I want to continue down this path, exploring this possibility that thoughts are not at all what we think they are. In fact, we've gone through strange evolution where we were not really thinking very much, and then this got really cranked up the last 200 years. Now we've suddenly found ourselves in this thinking problem, and then the possibility that now we may have another epiphany, that thinking may not be at all what it appears to be, that this burdensome, troublesome, keeping us up at night, anxiety-provoking process of thinking may only itself be an illusion. And once you, and I'll give you a practice in a little bit that will show you that if part of you falls for the illusion, there's another part, the kind of reality part, that doesn't. And that really matches the left hemisphere storyteller and the right hemisphere that seems to be the guiding force to actual reality, which is, of course, consciousness. And so there's an old Zen story. A student is anxious and troubled by their mind, and the teacher says, well, show me your mind and I will pacify it. And the student, and this is a super important part of it, the student says, well, whenever I try to find my mind, I can't find it. And then the teacher says, well, there, it's been pacified. And that is pretty much what I've been talking about in these last 10 or so videos, that the mind only seems to be there. And when you go to look for it, you can't find it, which is to say, to put in a different language that I've been discussing in this last couple videos, is that when consciousness tries to make thoughts conscious, it can't do it. And that shows the illusory nature of thinking. Take any thought. So again, just give random examples of thoughts that keep us up at night. So you have a presentation to do and you hear the voice in the head, or maybe you think you hear the voice in the head and it's, chattering on about, maybe this presentation isn't going to go very well and that's going to affect my career, yada, 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 and all this. And you're up all night. Well, hear the voice in the head right now. Just take a second, maybe even pause, just take a second and we're going to explore if that's actually something that you're conscious of, or is it just something that appears to be conscious? And that's the trick, the Maya. Things are not as they appear to be. So the next time you're having a really intrusive, problematic thought, put it under the spotlight of consciousness and see if you can be conscious of it in the same way that you're conscious of the physicality of the world, which is, of course, just another manifestation of consciousness. That's why meditation is so important. You're conscious of the body. That's why students love the body scanning exercises, because you are becoming conscious of a manifestation of consciousness. But when we do thinking, we're doing something that is a really new trick in the universe. And it's very possible, I've said this in other videos about aliens, aliens may not think in the same way that we think. Maybe they went through an evolutionary time when they thought they were thinking and then they discovered the illusion. So let me give you a visual illusion, because these are a little easier to deal with. And of course, after 300 videos, I have not updated any of the technology of this channel. And so I've just got a printout here. But this is a great illusion, because even with, kind of putting it just up here on the screen, those two center orange dots are actually in reality the same size. But the left brain is telling a story, and the left brain is taking relativism into the whole story and saying, well, there's small dots on one and larger dots. So in comparison, the one dot surrounded by the small dots actually seems bigger, and the one with the larger dots surrounding it seems smaller. Now, while that illusion, and I've talked about that illusion, I think I talked about it in my book, and I talked about how in class one time, I've said, well, the illusion, there's nothing you can do. It's part of the left brain telling a story. And suddenly I was able to shift attention. And if you shift attention, you can actually eliminate the illusion. So there is actually a part of you, and they did a study with this, very interesting study, using this exact same stimuli, where they put it as coins on a table. And then they measured the distance between the index finger and the thumb, and the person would reach out and grab that center circle, which was a coin in this case. And the interesting thing is, and now they called it an inner zombie who wasn't fooled by the illusion. I would say the exact opposite. I would say this is the part of you that is conscious of the reality of the world. And it didn't matter which circle, whether it was the one on the left or the right. it was not fooled by the illusion. And there's a part of you that isn't fooled by that illusion also. So the point of working on this visual exercise is so you can take that and transfer that over to the process of thinking. So could thinking be that same type of an illusion where, while part of you falls for it and buys into this, that you're being tortured by the thoughts, tortured by the voice in the head, but maybe there's another part of you that has a clear connection with reality and consciousness that isn't fooled by the illusion at all, and it knows that those are just shadows and they don't even exist.